At first, I despised it, but now I love it. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact: I do to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Another fun fact: Nagi. Egoist League. Why did I say it like that? Egoist League. Nagi. I got 10 minutes to talk about how I feel about the character, and it's been a roller coaster of emotions. So the new Egoist League has ended, and Nagi has been locked away from Blue Lock. Now, I, like many others, do believe that this lock away is essentially meant to be like the lowest of low points for the character, but obviously, we need to talk about the new Egoist League itself if we're going to talk about where he ended up and why I now like this and see it as such a positive thing, where if you asked me not even 3 months ago, I would have been like, this is actually the most garbage writing choice you could have made, and went a little bit too far. But with it being the case, new Egoist League Nagi was something I was extremely excited for. As a person who got caught up on Blue Lock after the first season of the anime, meaning I was around back in the early days of the new Egoist League and started reviewing and looking around in the early days, I was really excited to see Nagi. He was literally my favorite character. He was good with the sauce, right? He had cool goals, extra amounts of swagger. He is a white-haired character with a whole bunch of aura. Oh no, it's anime's #1 formula for success. So much success that he got his own manga and his own movie. So clearly something was working well. But, obviously, naturally, not all things could be well. The new Egoist League version of Nagi. Well, it seemed at first at the start of the Manshine game, he was willing to evolve, willing to grow, willing to change, willing to become more creative at the expense of an entire team supporting him. I was like, oh, this is actually going to be goated. We're actually going to get a Nagi who's internally motivated, who's self-motivated. Maybe this is going to be some straight gas. But then Kaneshiro-sensei decided to remind me, hey, buddy, you know the whole theme of the arc, progression through regression? Well, guess what I'm about to do? And he proceeded to take the heaviest baseball bat he could find, beat Nagi over the head with it, and essentially knock all his character development right out the window because things got a little bit too hard. It got a little bit too scary. Fighting the big Isagi, man, he was too strong, he was too fast, he was too smart, he was too intelligent. Isagi didn't have a single goal, by the way. But legitimately, Nagi just gave up. He stopped. And at first, when I read this, and for the longest time, I was like, this doesn't really make sense. Isagi, while powerful and dangerous, just as the entirety of BM was, it didn't seem like a throw away all your character development to go rely on Ryo again kind of serious. But once again, there's the overall theme of progression through regression, and Nagi simply deciding that a challenge was too difficult to overcome and thus relying on somebody else to do it has kind of been a core conceit of his character for a while. Obviously, even with his development, all he does is latch on to a different person. He lost with Ryo, so what does he do? He latches onto the person who helped defeat him and Ryo, and Isagi. He goes and joins him. When they lose Bachira and when they lose Torin's team, and it's Isagi and Nagi versus Baro, what does Nagi do? He tells Isagi to get his act together and carry him. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to backpack me, Isagi. What do you mean you can't backpack me right now? I'm a genius, bro. Do it. And we see this continue and continue and continue and continue. Nagi has never really had to do anything all his own. And because of that, he's never really been internally motivated. He's always been externally motivated, whether it be by Ryo, whether it be by Isagi. And notably, even when he seems to have internal motivation of beating Isagi, let's be completely honest, that was nothing but an external motivation isolated to a singular character. Meaning, if you were to ever to meet the condition of defeat Isagi, the quote-unquote game would be over. He won, right? So why should he bother to do anything else? And with that retrospective in mind, seeing Nagi give up simply for the idea of, it's too hard, Ryo, I want to beat the Isagi man now so I can feel my dopamine receptors go off. And him deciding to team up with Ryo to get that dopamine receptor pop off right then and there, it hurt me. It stabbed me directly in my heart. And very specifically, it was like Kaneshiro-sensei took a sword and stabbed it directly into my soul extra hard because of the fact that I could have sworn he was going to make Nagi fail, right? To show that this just isn't the path for either of them. Not just undoing all of Nagi's development, but undoing all of Ryo's and having them simply fall back into their sick and twisted, unhealthy ways. But then he goes on to score what at the time was the best goal in the series. The 5-stage volley went absolutely insane, and Boku Bonkers, it was next level. But then Kaneshiro-sensei said, don't worry, my child. I'm going to make him pay for this. And he lost horrifically. As Isagi Yoichi himself said, no more miracles for the both of you. And unfortunately, as I predicted right when I saw it, Nagi's ego died. Ultimately, death itself was felled by its own success. And with that being the case, he had nothing left. He was empty, running on nothing but a vapid dream of somebody else's. He had no internal fire, no internal motivation. And that's what Neo-Egoist League Nagi is all about. What drives you? What motivates you? And what happens when you reach that motivation? What happens when your fires burn the brightest? Do you just give up? And we saw Nagi just give up. Whether it be in the next game he played against Ubers, where he got absolutely violated and had to ask Baro, dude, why do you do this? Only for Baro to tell him, no duh, I do this for the gains and to overcome Isagi and literally become the best in the world. What are you talking about? Stupid head. And admittedly, Nagi just didn't understand it. And of course he goes up against Rin, and he's like, Rin, how do you do this? What motivates you? And Rin is like, I do it for the love of the game and to beat my brother and to beat Isagi and to become the best in the world. Stupid. And then finally, it's Barcha. Final game, a game we get to see a bit more in depth, seeing how Nagi's lack of motivation has truly defined him. His inability to do anything unless being told to. His inability to connect with that fire, to relight his own internal flames, that emptiness that comes with that. It's beautiful and sad, because ultimately Nagi is willing to do anything, right? Because, you know, he's meant to be the best in the world with Ryo. That's kind of his purpose, you know? Why bother doing anything else, right? And we see why he should have bothered. Because Ryo, who has that internal fire, who has that internal motivation, who has that core flame lit inside of him, is able to adapt, able to evolve, able to grow, able to react to the situation around him and conform accordingly through an assist, through a goal, through determination. But ultimately, Nagi got too comfortable. Nagi got too coddled. Nagi made a mistake, and just as many times in life when we all make mistakes, he had to pay for it dearly. He got aura farmed on by Otoya, of all characters, and faltered because Ryo was there for him, just like he always wanted. The boss battle was a little bit too hard, but thank the heavens he could run duos. But he didn't realize that it was a gank fight, and Bachura came in and ended Nagi, slicing him off right at number 24, dropping him down into the pits of despair, leaving Nagi void of anything. And while at first he'd seemed to feel some sort of serenity in this, a freedom, we now know the freedom and serenity that Nagi felt was nothing but an empty void. A strong face to put on in front of the world, and now it leaves him with nothing but this void emptiness. This desire, this need to be reborn. He, like a phoenix, wishes to light himself aflame and rise again to meet the fired up Nagi that he once knew. And that is why it is peak. Because finally now Nagi has that internal fire. For the longest time, he never knew what it was. He could never find it. He never had any internal thing to push him and motivate him. But now that the Neo-Egoist League has pushed Nagi as far as he could go, regressed him all the way back to those lonely high school days, took him the farthest in the overall arc of progression through regression, back to the beginning, back to where it all started, to make him realize that he would never want to go there again. It's beautiful. And very specifically seeing Nagi at the latest time of recording in chapter 306, given to his desperation, his desire to go back, and being offered a chance by the darkest and most devious and diabolical round man in the entire series. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cost to pay. Because ultimately, one must reach their lowest point before they can begin to climb up to their highest. And the Neo-Egoist League was Isagi's rise and Nagi's fall, where Isagi rose to become the best in the world. One respected and viewed as a demonic hero king, the god of death fell far, and he fell hard, and he fell fast, and he fell cruelly, and notably he fell at his own hands. Nagi is a story of self-destruction through lack of liberation, and overall inability to accept challenge for what it is until it's too late. And now I'm excited to see, what will Nagi do? How will Nagi continue to evolve? Will it be with Blue Lock? Will it be without? This period of the narrative right now, at least I'm recording, is very, very interesting because it keeps me invested in a character who had fallen off a cliff for me, and has finally made me understand them in a way that I never had before. And it's all because Neo-Egoist League Nagi died a cruel, sad, and painful death, and fell oh so far. So now I'm excited to see whether or not he shall fester in the pit or rise back up to the heavens alongside the kings, the destroyers, the monsters, and men. But, of course, that is what I think about Nagi to Sleep Nagi and his journey so far and what could come for him in the future, positive or negative. But I want to know what you guys think. Please let me know in the comment section down below. But since you probably made it all the way to the end of this video and I only have 3 seconds left, I want to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure the notification bell so you do not miss out. Yeah, I'm out of time. But please make sure you hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, you can have a Patreon down below or use more me for as low as $1, $1, $1. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. So now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions here, the series I'm to review, variations of all my videos, and if you coin to a Patreon or a $12 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also do link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You can drop 5 things for a short video, 200 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again. But psych! I hope I tricked at least some of y'all. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please leave a reborn death. A reborn death in the comment section down below. But now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Nagi the Pencil, writing off. I would like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Redwolf 4765, Astro, Super Flame Zero, Glacier, XZ, Zera, Brendan Payne, J2MA, Guillaume, Buddha Uda, Alex Kenny, Yuki Ally, Enzo, Nevis 97, Zachary Wilson, Azo 2404, Planet Crone, Rye Rich, G Prosper, Swift Strike, Alexicon, Striker Man, and Autumn Mornings Lazo. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our line art patrons: Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin, Encarnacion, Dread Zoan, and A+A. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our Ink tier members: Austin Wimberly, Euchia, and Shrimpo the Shrimp. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Joaquin Munoz and Joaquin Munoz. And a final and thank you to our ultimate, that guy with a pencil tier patron, Calvin's wife. Not Calvin Elder, who ultimately does have one of my kidneys, but now I must know, and I must undergo the process of getting this second one removed, so I can send the other over to this wonderful family.